I'm your Black Lex today, baby. Now you ain't never gotta like me, that shit is overrated. You need a hero to love, I be the villain that you hated. When it's all said and done, you gon' love me. Me kissing babies, fucking ladies thinking of me. Cause I'm the villain, the bad guy, the one that's supposed to lose. But I'm American, baby, so the rules all skewed for me. Steal your identity, fuck up your credit for free. Police know it's stolen, but they still make you pay the fee. And you don't respect me, for real? I'm the one that's showing you what the real world is. All these backroom deals for your kids' future. My financial aid hustle keep your kids mooching. And why you motherfuckers still stupid? The Statue of Liberty married the country, divorced and now the bitch still moving. With half of the money, alimony, child support. You know what's up when I be winning in the court, cause I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, H-N-I-C, everybody wants to be. Damn right, I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, H-N-I-C, everybody wants to be. They try to tell me thou shalt not steal. In the same church they tell me Jesus white, is they for real? They try to say the land of the free, minus the slavery, plus the fact that you pay for land these folks stole for free. And you wanna be Superman. Did you forget that Lex Luthor became the president? You lacking common sense, that's why the villain lives. That's why the villain's right. They turn on Superman, man, they turn on Jesus Christ. Even the devil got teams, like Arizona State, Duke, the state of Jersey. The man say you're sold and he can't get a jersey. Y'all go to church on Sunday and you claim you're worthy. That's why I got my credit and I'm charging 10%. You finish paying me and you gon' pay me triple, bitch. So why'd I be a hero when a villain gets paid? And women like paid, so the villain gets laid. So I'ma be the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, H-N-I-C, everybody wants to be. Damn right, I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, H-N-I-C, everybody wants to be. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. This is gonna get interesting because this topic is just silly to me, so I'm gonna make fun of it in all honesty. But decentering men, the definition that when you Google it is a lifestyle choice and movement where women prioritize their own needs, desires, and narratives, rather than centering men's opinions, expectations or societal roles in their lives. It involves unlearning patriarchal norms and reclaiming agency. Now, I'm gonna put a little spin on it because I'm including black men in this, right? Here's the thing. Don't nobody care. This is like the 57th movement of a different name. From the beginning of feminism to the last one before decentering was what? The 4B movement. It's just a bunch of dumb movements that for some odd reason, and the reason why I'm saying about this one in particular, give me 1 second. The reason I'm talking about this one in particular, because it's called decentering men, when the whole premise of the whole movement is based on men being in the center. Like, why don't you just go do your thing? Like, stop blaming guys for everything that you want to do and need to do. is y'all act like there's these phantom fantasy men in your way that's stopping you from doing things, and that's not true. That becomes the problem. This stuff isn't. It's not really based in truth. So one of the other things that bother me about this stuff, like I said, it's a million different movements, right? These movements don't last. They go about 3 to 6 months at average, and they just repackage it as something else. And then you get all these people on social media, whether it be men, whether it be effeminate men, because they don't have to be gay. They just they just got to be effeminate, and women just constantly making video after video, social media posts after social media posts. Oh, let's talk about what the men did this and the men did this, and your grandmother was unhappy because your grandfather, he slammed her like he was Hulk Hogan, and he jumped off the kitchen table and elbowed her in the heart like Macho Man Randy Savage, and that's why all of you guys are evil. And it's like, okay, man, here we go with the same stupid speech. And the reason why I'm gonna keep reiterating how stupid it is, is y'all doing too much. Because one week it's decentering, the next week it's where are all the men at? And it's like, look, y'all got to make up your mind. Do you want us decentered, or do you want us to be providers and protectors? And it's like, oh, you thought that men were supposed to vacillate back and forth between, every little bug you got up your butt and every little movement you make. And it don't make sense. You want to decenter men, and you want to pursue your own goals of happiness, have at it. But when you do that, could you please stop going like, it's expensive out here to be alone. It's expensive to be an adult. Where are the men why can't I meet a man to pay my bills? Where I need a guy with 6 figures. I need a guy to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, hold up. So you want to decenter guys on one end, and then you want guys to pay for everything in your life on another end. Like y'all gotta be consistent. And this is becoming a problem. Inconsistency is a huge problem. Because this is why people don't take most of these movements serious, because it's like, okay, so I get it. You don't like men right now for whatever reason you got, right? But man, you want to act like, especially in this social media age, that I don't remember you 5 years ago. You said this. You was 10 toes down, in this particular movement. And now you're like, could you take me to dinner? It's like, what? Could you help take care of my kids? What? Like, I thought men was decentered. Yeah, I thought that a long time ago, but then life started kicking me in the face. So then I needed to recenter the men that I said to decenter because I needed help. It's like, look, man, y'all really can't stick to these movements. Y'all like the stereotypical stud who sleeps with men. I don't like men. What's up? I'm a bro now. I got a line and in a ponytail, and I'm wearing some shorts and some boxer briefs, but somehow I'm getting smashed by some dude, and I'm calling the dude who I'm sleeping with gay because he messing with me because I want to dress like a boy. It's crazy. This is basically what's going on right now. So why this is like annoying, it's a multitude, a plethora of reasons why. One of them is this. I thought men were decentered already. That was part of feminism. I thought that was part of the reason for equality, and that was part of the reason for what did you call it? No fault divorce and family courts being biased. To show the world that the world would be a much better place if men, predominantly husbands, fathers, were decentered and everything was centered around, women. and effeminate men. We've been down this road before. We already know where it ends. It doesn't actually end well. It doesn't actually end in like, oh, this is a great thing. No. The same men you want to decenter because you feel like life would be better if they weren't in the middle of everything are the same men you're going to turn to 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now and blame them for everything. You weren't there. You didn't do this and you didn't do that. And how and you be like, well, yeah, I didn't do it. You said you got it. You said I was decentered, remember? I was decentered. I wasn't supposed to be on the middle of this. I wasn't supposed to be, in the leadership position. I was just supposed to, be a consigliere from afar and give advice when necessary, when needed, at your say so. And now all of a sudden your plan is terrible. And now somehow, when it's time to take the throne, you want men decentered. But when it's time to take the blame, you want men recentered again. Like, no, it's all your fault. And it's like, listen, man, this is why nobody's paying attention. This is why these things they get attention because they're idiotic. They don't get attention because they make sense. We're going to decenter. Okay, whatever. Whatever. You're going to decenter. Fine, whatever. So now we're back at this same space again, right? So then you have these moments, right? Where, okay, we need to decenter the men because I want to do what I want to do. And it's like, okay. And this is where it gets weird. Because usually you have a lot of adults who are single. They're not in relationships. They're not married. And they're 10 toes down with decenter these guys. It's like, who are you talking about? You already free to do whatever you want to do. What are we talking about right now? Excuse me. Like, what are we getting into right now? Ain't nobody centered in your life. You are the center of your life. Congratulations. Everything revolves around you. That's the good and the bad. It revolves around you. So why are you talking about decentering something when you're the only person there? It don't make sense. And to me, what it comes off as, this is why sometimes these people, sometimes I think people get in relationships at this particular moment just for content purposes. That's it. Just for content. Just for, they go on bad dates on purpose just to say that, oh, you see how these people are acting? It's like, no, I'm not about to sit here and lie and say bad dates don't happen, but good dates happen too. People don't talk, they only talk about the bad. They really don't talk about the good. So what winds up happening is you got just this whole thing going with a bunch of strangers who everything in life went bad. And the only way everything in life can go good is if, they decenter men. And then when they decenter the guys, I don't understand. What's your problem now? What is your problem now? Like, where do we go? I want to be able to stay out all night and do whatever I want. You want to stay out all night? Cool. You decenter men. So you decenter men, you get to stay up all night and do whatever you want. But okay, but you grown. You still gonna have to go to work in the morning, or you're gonna have to wake up for work, right? Is that a part of the patriarchy that you don't like? Like, I want to decenter men, but part of the patriarchy is working, so I don't want to work. And if you don't want to work, is that like now you want to be a traditional housewife, which would be what? Patriarchy? Like, make up your mind. Like, make up your mind. And it's like, oh, I want to dress how I want to dress. Dress how you want to dress. Who cares? Okay, so you want, and what happens because where this is gone is part of the issue is you have young ladies, grown women online talking also about how men aren't paying them as much attention as women got years ago. So it's like you want to decenter men, and the men say, okay, I'm decentered. I'm out of the picture. I'm out of the way. I ain't, I'm not bothering you. I'm not in your, I'm not getting in your way. I'm not in your presence. I'm not making you uncomfortable. I'm not trying to even talk to you. I'm not hitting on you. And now that's a problem too. Right. It's like, so where are the men to tell me I'm pretty and beautiful and thirst over me? And it's like, bruh, what are we talking about? There was the whole thing. You need consent. That was part of the Me Too movement, consent. And then you saw people in the Me Too movement tripping in line. And then, why do you need consent? Well, because if I don't get consent, you might lock me up for assault. Well, why do I need to actually say it? Because you're the same person that says if you don't say it, it's assault. Well, I just want you to know that I'm consenting, but then not know that I'm consenting at the same time. And okay, so basically you want the ability to just, have sex with me or get me locked up for the same exact thing. Just when you feel like it. Oh, okay. So this becomes a problem. So guys say, nah, we gonna do this the quote unquote right way. So, this is why I say this is why y'all can't do it. Because for one, you can't stick to it. For two, these movements don't last long enough for you to actually follow all the rules. It's what is it? All of these feminist offshoot movements are just like when people were tripping on the gay community when they kept adding letters, LBGTQ, elemental PQRS, TUVWXY. It was like people at some point people just got tired. They're like, listen, man, when y'all figure it out, get back to us because we ain't finna change with y'all every week. Yes, that's my point, Kenneth. And then we have this whole other issue. What if guys, like I said, guys agree, say, okay, I'm gonna be decentered. Some of the same people who are saying decenter men are the same people who will say stuff like, why are you dating out of your race? Why are you a passport bro? And it's like, listen, what are you talking about? You said I was decentered, right? So cool. You do you, I'ma do me. But you don't deal with black women no more. That's that. No, I just don't deal with women who do have the whole decentered argument. Like a lot of times the feminist ideology is a nuisance in a relationship. It's just a nuisance. I remember making a video a while back. Man, because it was Father's Day. How can I say this? So, because I don't remember the T-shirt exactly, but it was Father's Day. It was about 5-6 years ago. It was Father's Day, and I had went to Papados. Most people who in the South Texas areas, some ways people Papados is a seafood restaurant. So I went to Papados just to pick up something to go. But it was Father's Day. Never forget this. So a guy comes in and he has his daughter, daddy, daughter day, Father's Day. And then the mother comes in and she has this like feminist T-shirt on, like I'm the mother and the father type T-shirt. You know what I'm saying? Just in mind, it's Father's Day, so I know it was trolling. So she walks into Papados because he's with his daughter, and like he has the baby girl or whatever because they're in two separate cars. And then she walks in there with this little trolling T-shirt on. And I'm like, what are you doing? But see, this is when we play this game where, okay, it's a red flag, but it's also, oh yeah, you definitely, now I see why y'all ain't together. I see why y'all coming in separate cars, because you just want to antagonize the guy. I see. That's a whole nother thing. Because what was the movement back then? The that was like right after they used to have those Father's Day cards, the Black Day card with Happy Father's Day, Mom, and then people was like, okay, this is enough, and this is part of the prequel. You know, it's not prequel. It was another movement that was decentering men, right? Yeah, I talked about that, the 4B2. So now we keep having these movements over and over again, and they really don't have as much steam as people think. They're just annoying. You're just annoying because people don't put all this into perspective of how it actually is. Like, so every time you got a new movement, yep, you're right. Black Lives Matter was the same way, because people forget Black Lives Matter was, they had the little tag statement about, it was about women and gay and queer family structure. It wasn't really about straight men. So Black Lives Matter did the same thing. And that's why, they had the way they fell out. It was the same thing. It was like a bunch of gay couples who were stealing money. And now Black Lives Matter kind of became a cautionary tale of why not to invest in the Black community. So it decentered men, and it's like, okay, cool. And now we're not going to help those guys again because of Black Lives Matter. And it's like, it is what it is. Now, the title, part of why I'm saying the title is why you can't decenter Black men, is because the issue with this is you need somebody to blame, as BGS or who else I see saying that? Mr. Z. I think Roger says it from time to time too. Yes, it's always Jermaine's fault. You need somebody to blame. So the reason why you can't really decenter Black men is because you want to blame Black men for everything. If you there's nobody else to blame, because God forbid you blame yourself. You're not gonna say, yeah, I did that. It's my fault. I did that. Yeah, I made that mistake. It's like, so I would, most of us Black men would love to be, it's like, we live in rent free in everybody's head because they got an issue. They got a personal issue, some stupid insecurity issue, some crazy sexual issue. And we just gotta be in the middle of it. Your lack of accountability issue, we gotta get blamed for it. With the community. So it's like, man, listen, man, you can't decenter us. We would love it. We would love it. Because a lot of times, Black men really, as a group, we've been decentered by America, since its inception. So even with us, it's like, I don't know why you talking to us about decentering men, because it's like we've never been the center. We've always been our own thing, our own entity. It's actually been the opposite with us. We've actually made spaces for ourselves because we weren't allowed in spaces, or we weren't liked in spaces, so we made our own little spaces. And what happened? Everybody wanted to come in our lane and center themselves in our lane that we built. That's what normally happens. And then when these people want to get in our lane and then say something's wrong with our lane because you're at the center of the lane that you created. It's like, bruh, this my lane. What are you talking about? So that becomes the issue because, you know, you're trying to decenter black men in our own lane. You kind of like, you know, and some men in general, it's the same as when women want to have all women spaces. Guys really don't intrude. Guys really don't intrude. But when men have spaces that are men's spaces, that was the whole sports bar thing. That was even the whole, you know, gamer thing. You know, that was the gym thing. Oh, women was like, no, we can't have that. We got to be in the space. And you got to retrofit the space to us because we're not comfortable in your space that you're comfortable in. It's like, oh my God. And it went from that to, we got to decenter the men. It's like, oh, okay. All right. And even, you know, with all of these movements, here's a brunch. With all of these movements, there's another thing that happens. You know, this is why people thought that centering women and making things for women exclusively or women in particular, you know, they thought it was going to make money. They thought, hey man, you know, that's what the Hollywood thought. That's why they was making movies and shows catering to women, because they figured women, this is what women want to see. Women want this, women want that. Women would, and it's like, women want this, we're gonna give women what they want, and in turn they're gonna pay for what they want. And what wound up happening is the ladies wasn't paying for what they said they wanted. So even when you center them and you center something around them, you know, they don't reciprocate. It's the same argument. You know, you can even have that argument right now with the WNBA. Why aren't we should be paid exactly the same as the men? No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. No, the men have the men make a lot of, the men generate a lot of money. That's why they make a lot of money. And frankly, the people right now, they're not deserving. The men ain't deserving of what they're making right now. They're living off of the past of other people. They're actually messing it up for the future, because they're not as exciting as they once were. It's not competitive as it once was. You know, that's what goes on. So now, you know, you got to make it about us. Like, nah, And just like the manosphere, that's exactly the same thing. You know, how dare something be centered around men? Like, men center themselves. It's like, oh, whatever. What's up, millennial? So I just had to mess with you. But what winds up happening is now we got this whole thing going, you know, because what you're really having is like, it's not a push-pull. Like, people thought, you know, if you push the guys away, you know, the guy's gonna pull you back and, well, I can't live without you type of situation. It's like, nah, you push the guys away and the guys are like, okay, bye. Okay, you don't want me here, bye, I'm moving. You know, I'm leaving on a jet plane. And now it's like, oh my God, you know, we want to decenter men and we want you away from me, but you ain't supposed to be gone. You're not supposed to stay gone. You're supposed to come back. And it's like, no, that's what decentering men is. You know, we're not supposed to be the center of the equation. That means we're not supposed to be giving you money. You know, right? Man, you sharp, man. And I'm gonna get them commercials together, just for the record. You know, but that's where we're at. Like, you know, you can't decenter men and at the same time, you know, want to be subsidized by men. That don't even make sense. Don't even make sense. So now we have issue after issue after issue after issue. And this is what I mean. Like they made the video, we didn't make it. People saw that video. It's like a viral video of the, and that's weird. I just thought about that. How the hell is that viral now? They had the video of the basically the gay son dressed for prom, and the dad comes to quote unquote take him to prom. And I just thought about that, bro. That video's coming out. People talking about this in March. Prom ain't until May. So was that had to be last year then? It wasn't, because it wasn't this year. But what we get at is, you know, if you're gonna decenter men, and you want men to put up with all the dysfunction that you create when men are decentered. And it's like, bro, cut it out. Because sometimes, see, a lot of times people, and it's not even just, it's the idea of patriarchy. It's the idea of, you know, patriarchy and patriarchal this and patriarchal that. It's like, listen, there are rules in life that you should live by. In life. If you don't want to live by those rules, cool. But whatever consequences come with those, with not living by those rules, you can't, you know, you're not supposed to escape those consequences. So a lot of what's going on now is, you know, people want to blame patriarchy for negative things. And it's like, nah, you know, y'all doing too much now. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when I said, you know, it was women, it was effeminate guys who are on a decentering kick now. But they've been on all of these feminist kicks. What's interesting is, and this is why I say it is stupid. What's interesting is all of the vast majority of these stories and this agenda that they got, thanks for saying it, this agenda is a bunch of like made up stuff. Your grandmother in the 60s and 70s who couldn't get a job. She could get a job in the 70s, by the way. And even with your grandmother couldn't work, and stop it. They've been check cashing places for a very long time. People been getting paid in cash for a very long time. People didn't have bank accounts. I get that. But you know what people had? Cash in their house. They had cash under the bed. They had cash every doggone well. So to act like, you know, because, you know, and I get it, women couldn't get a bank account till like the 60s. But let's stop playing this game. She was married to your granddaddy because she had to be. It's funny. Your granddad had been dead the vast majority of your life. And the house you grew up in with your grandmama, your granddaddy paid for that house. You ungrateful scumbag. You know, so now you're going to make all these stories up about what happened in the 60s and the 70s. But here's the interesting part. Why you're not talking about the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s? Why you not talking about those yet? Why you really not talking about those years? For some weird reason. You don't want to talk about the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s. That's very interesting to me. 5 decades. Because somehow I know it ain't going to hit the same. Because y'all saw, because men were being decentered in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, in the 2010s, and now in the 2020s. And we've seen the dysfunction this whole time. The whole time. So y'all don't want to talk about all the you know, lies and scumbag plays that you've been in, you participated in, you watched, and you've seen. Because it ain't really the men that was the granddads who, you know, who was beating your grandmama with a lead pipe. No, because y'all act like we didn't live through this stuff, and we didn't see most of this stuff. So now we got an issue. Let's decenter the men. Okay, cool. What did the guys in the 80s do to you? Because see, you know what, the 80s ain't necessarily the 80s and 90s actually ain't necessarily a deadbeat era. that was when people was talking about it was the drug dealer era, and they was dating the drug dealers because the drug dealers had the money. So uh oh, so that's a character issue. You dating drug dealers for money, that's a character issue. That's what the 80s and 90s was. The 90s was more violent than the 80s. You know, I can say that. You could get away with more crime in the 80s, but in the 90s, the violence just went crazy. In the 90s, you know, you had caller ID. So in the 90s, you know, you couldn't disappear. You couldn't disappear anymore. And the reason I got to say that because I wasn't listening to. I was looking at one of those Jubilee episodes, and it was political / feminist type of thing, you know, and it had this old white lady who was in her 50s, and she was talking, and at one point she was talking about how she needed help because she was a single mother. So she was married, and she took her and a child and moved to a completely different state. She got divorced, moved to a completely different state, and wound up being a teacher. And as a teacher, she got one of her students to babysit her child. And they just glossed over what she said. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, that happened a lot in the 80s and the 90s. Like people packed up because she wasn't the lady wasn't abused. It wasn't none of that. She wasn't abused. She wasn't beat. She wasn't mishandled. She just picked up and left. She wanted to do her own thing, basically. So she picked up, left, and became a single mother, went to a city with no family, no friends, and then had to raise the child on her own. And it's like, yeah, that happened a lot. It like people play this game where, you know, in the 80s and 90s, you know, all the black men went to jail for drugs. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. You know, a lot of the black men didn't go to jail for drugs. You know, there was more black men in jail than in college. And then you forgot. Oh, you talking about there's more black men in jail, and that wasn't even true. But the way they put it back in the 90s was, you know, people didn't think about it like, oh, you talking about black men who are basically from teenagers to death combined, because the black men that are in college are like 18 to, let's just say 24 or 25. You talking about 17 to death. That don't even add up. That ain't even the same, you know, demographic of people. But it wasn't true then either. You know, like you said, based in stereotypes. So you want to decenter the men, you know, but you don't want to talk about what went on in the 2000s. If you was, I'm gonna tell you, from the late 90s to the 2000s, America was economically killing, boy. It was a boom. So most of you people who were born in the late 90s, early 2000s, y'all really didn't live in poverty. Y'all don't even, the vast majority of y'all don't even know what poverty is. Y'all have no idea. Y'all, you know, y'all, like some of you young cats, y'all playing, you know, I eat ramen noodles. That's the closest you think you're gonna get to hood life, is ramen noodles. It's like, bro, shut up. You know, we were right. So now we play these games. So it's like, okay, so you want to decenter the men? The men are fine. But I want to know why you can't tell us, why you can't say all the bad things the guys are doing. Since it's, you know, they say the dating pool is trash. You know, it's trash. It's terrible. Why is it terrible? Why is it terrible? Why is the dating pool terrible? Nobody, oh, the men are terrible. The men are terrible. The men are terrible. It's like, oh, okay. I get it. You don't want to live in reality. It's a simple explanation. The reason why the dating market is so quote unquote terrible is because people have character issues. That's why. See, if I'm gonna hurt somebody private, my bad. You know, that's what it is. You got character issues. You got to understand something. 80s, 90s, 2000s. Like I got a quick story. This was in the 2000s. Early to late 2000s. Matter of fact, this story extends from the early 2000s to the 2010s. Because this happened a lot. I know a lot of guys, a lot of girls, right? I was fresh out of college, and I knew some girls who was beautiful. They're beautiful. Beautiful. I'm about to get there. You know, they were beautiful. They had good boyfriends. Really good boyfriends or really good guys that were dating. And then they had guys in the nightlife. What would normally happen was they'll be dating the guy who's they'll be dating or living with or living off of the guy who's, just, early 20s, mid 20s, getting his life together, doing his thing, working, paying bills. Dog, yeah. And then, he's working in the daytime, working extra hours. At nighttime, he sleep. And she like, well, we don't go out enough. So she go partying. So she got a whole different life in the streets at night because he's tired. He can't go everywhere with her. And it's me and my girlfriends type of thing. Her and her friends go out. They going out, they partying, they meeting people, they getting ran through. Sometimes they get ran through, and sometimes they just using guys. They go to this club for guys buying free liquor here, guys buying free food at the end of the night, guys always trying to hit, so they taking numbers. Sometimes they sleeping with the guys, sometimes they not. And then at some point, the good guys make a choice. Like, hey, wait a minute, what we doing? And then they go, I'm all right on you. I got the streets. And then years later, she might be fine, she might not be fine, but she not living good. So she went from, being partying and all her friends was partying and everybody was fine and kicking and they look great to, girl, you 28. Man, you've been going to the same 12 clubs since you was 18. Ever since you got in college, you've been circling the same 10, 12 clubs. Everybody know you not. Ain't nobody trying to take you serious. The good guy, sometimes it wasn't a guy, it was normally multiple guys over the span of 10 years, multiple guys. So now them guys got somebody, they moved on. They got, they married, they in long-term relationships, they got kids, or they're single and they're doing their thing, but they took care of their responsibilities first. And now, they was trying to double back and triple back and, hey, I remember you. And what happened to you and such and such? Wasn't y'all engaged? That didn't work out. Oh, okay. I saw you with all the ballers at the, whether they be just the ballers in the city, whether they be D-boys, whether they be athletes, whether they just be rich, you was with all the ballers. And none of the ballers kept you. And people forget, even the ballers, they run their cycle. They club for a certain amount of time and then they move out of it. So when all them ballers leave, it's a new crop of ballers that coming afterwards and they don't want you. So that's the decentering men thing. That's what we gonna do. So now we're gonna play that game. So it's like, okay, this is what we doing. This is what we doing again. So now I got to decenter men. And the reason why I'm saying that whole thing, because behind the part about the dating part and the dating market is trash, a lot of what goes on with the dating market is what?
this whole feminist ideology. See, people, the reason why people do this dating and they're jerks and they have bad characters while they're dating is because they have these wild ideologies. It's no different than when dudes are like, all these chicks is, all these chicks is scumbags. They just here to get ran through. And so he horrible on every date he going on because he trying to hit everything. You know, man, you better give me. I bought you. I took you to Waffle House. I need some head. I took you to IHOP. I need some head. I took you to Papa Do's. I need some head. I bought you a drink at the club. I need some head. It's like, bro, shut up. These girls don't know what a real one is. Like, bro, you just gave a girl 2 sticks of gum and a vodka and crayon, and you told her she needed to suck you off. That's why you ain't never got nobody, bro, because you're stupid. That's the dumbest thing you could have ever done in your life. And you do this every time you go out. But by the time years go by and then all of these ideologies get up out of their system and they're like, oh, where the good people at? Well, the good people sick of you. They sick of you. They know you. They sick of you. They remember all your phases. All your phases. Decenter men, 4B, Me Too, Black Lives Matter, I'm the mother and the father. All men are dogs, all men are trash. All these movements, they were there. It's the same movement. It's just you just renamed it. You just renamed it. So people get tired of that. They just get tired of it and they don't want to talk to you. And then it's like, oh, and everybody want to play this game now. And this was interesting. Yeah, sprinkle. Get the bag. You know what I'm saying? This was interesting about that. I remember the men are dumb. Men are stupid. Men don't know it. It's like, okay. Y'all gonna keep playing. Because y'all act like these people don't know y'all. These people know y'all. So now that you want to decenter them, they're fine with that. They don't want to be around you no way. They don't. They like, man, look, I ain't got time for this. See, you can't openly say I don't like you and at the same time say I need you for something. That don't make no sense. You're trash. You're beneath me. I don't need you. I don't want you. I don't like you. You're a scumbag. All you want is sex. All you want to do is use me. So I want to get everything that you got for nothing. This is gonna, before you get to sex, I want a Birkin bag. And it's like, listen, if you don't get out of my face, just go somewhere. And that's why I say you can't decenter black men, because black men really, for the most part, left the room. This is why even back in the day, that's why the club scene died. I'm 45. I remember how it went down. I was there. I remember exactly what went on. And it was a nationwide thing. Cheap drinks, 99-cent drinks, cheap drinks by 10. Girls get in free like 10, 11 till 10, 11 o'clock. Guys go to the club. The girls getting in free. He paying $10, $20 to get in. Girls walking in. He buying drinks. I'm gonna buy drinks. I'm gonna talk to these girls. The girls taking the drinks, but not talking to the guys. The girls not dancing with the guys. The guys trying to dance. It's like, oh, okay. Because I grew up with. I was still in the era when people were still dancing. They go out there, dance, they have a good time. I was still in all of that. Basically, y'all stop partying. Y'all went as a bunch of group of girls and y'all was cock blocking each other. And it ain't even in cock blocking because it wasn't even about a sex thing all the way. Oh no, the roofies was a whole different thing because the girls on roofies was having sex. They was having sex. And that was a bad thing too, because they'll be waking up not knowing where they're at and thinking, and like, what happened to me? And it's like, because some of the people don't realize a lot of people was taking ecstasy and roofies on they wasn't getting drugged, they was taking them on their own. But let me get back to the thing. So y'all started going to these parties, and you started taking drinks, not dancing, and leaving. So that was when people was talking about parking lot pimping, where dudes would just be in the parking lot and they'll pick up their girl or the girl they talking to in the parking lot. She'll go out dancing and drinking, and people was paying for them drinking. They'd be sometimes they dance on people, most times they wouldn't. And then the guys would try to talk to them and they leave with somebody else, and it's like, okay, we done. So guys stop going to the club. They stopped going in. They stopped paying. That was part of the strip. That's why guys was in the strip club in the 2000s and the 2010s. That's why that happened. They were in the strip clubs because you could pay the same 20, depending on the strip club, the same $20 cover charge, and you could buy food at some clubs, but it was mostly drinks. And the same amount of money you would spend at a nightclub, you would spend at a strip club. If you spent $50 at a nightclub, you spent $50 at a strip club. That's what happened. That's how it went from, because the people stopped going to the nightclubs. They started going to the strip clubs, and then the nightclubs started turning into lounges. So everybody could come. They had drinks. They had a little food, because now they had to compete with the strip clubs. And you decentered, and this is part of this decenterment. You decentered the men, and it killed the whole night scene. See, I know, because there's a lot of chicks who didn't work out in the 90s and the 2000s. And what did they do? They'll tell you the whole speech. I go out and dance, and that's my workout. They will party Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Thursday to Sunday, and they would dance all the time. And that was their workout, dancing and sex. They killed all that. People, so people was like, I'm done with this. I'm done with it. So you decentered the men, the club scene died. So, you decentered the men in dating. It ain't about the men. So the men stopped dating. Men was taking women out on dates. Women was acting a fool on the dates. You say yes to a date, but you're not interested in the guy. You go, you eating like you never ate before in your life. You ordering stuff to go, and ordering stuff for your family and your friends and it's like, girl, you weigh 130 pounds. How you got four to go, 4 containers to go? What are we doing? Some of them was mothers, some of them was just single and they had roommates. So guys stopped dating. Girls couldn't cook, so they was dating because there was free food. Guys stopped dating. So you decentered the men because it was all about you. It was all about you. It was all about, I'm gonna do what I want. Okay, do what you want. So guys got tired of that. It's like, we don't date no more. We going to what you call it? We going to Starbucks. How dare you? It's like, man, shut up. That's what happened. I could fast forward. You decentered and here's the crazy part about that. You decentered the men, because that's even when you was talking, what do you call that? When people was on the phone, they'd be on dates and they'd be on the phone and they'll take pictures of food, but not pictures of the date. How y'all, like, that was actually the beginning of quote unquote Netflix and chill. You know why? Because other guys are like, I'm tired of taking people out. I'm cooking and I'm at home. I'm cooking. I'm at home cooking. I'm doing my thing. And what would happen is you would talk to women. You would talk to women. You meet them wherever you still meet them. Whatever. You talk to them. Sometimes it's online because that was the online era too. Somebody sent me a message. Okay. That was the online era too. From MySpace to Black Planet to what the hell, Facebook to Instagram. That was a progression per se. But what was going on was single men were cooking more than single women. So guys was cooking at home. I'm cooking, and you be meeting people, and you'll be talking on the phone, and it's like, "What you doing?" "I'm cooking." "What you making?" Da 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 da. "Oh, you could cook." That was the thing. You could cook. You cook for real, yeah. So the date was they'll come by to eat your damn food. They'll come by, eat your food, and that's how Netflix and chill basically started. Because instead of going out, they'll come over. You're still paying for stuff. You're still cooking. Netflix, chill. You know the rest, and they'll get some food, and they'll get some meat, and they'll go home. Some of them will stay. That was. He said back page. Oh Lord. Yeah, that was the era of guys who would get their hoodies and basketball shorts and ankle socks and t-shirts stolen all the doggone time. But you decentered the men, and that's what it wound up going to. It went from going out to all the way to Netflix and chill, and now it evolved into passport bros. You get what I'm saying? It's like y'all tripping. It's the same thing with the cougar market, right? The MILFs and the cougars. It's the same thing. You decentered men, and y'all was in the same age group. And this is why I brought up, um, people not really sticking in their generation when they make these talking points. Because what you normally have, say, let's just say, just for reference, you have somebody who's in 30 talking about somebody who's 30, right? And you've been doing this since you've been a teenager. So since you've been 15, you've been on these men ain't no good, these men ain't ish, but it's like you 15. What are you talking about? That's not your age group. You ain't even dealing with men. You dealing with other teenagers. You know. Yeah, I did. You know. But you dealing with teenagers, and then you 20. These men ain't no good. It's like you in college. Why are you talking about adults in the adult world that are taking care of themselves? Then you become an adult, and now you're talking about, oh, these men ain't no good, and it's like, and they're sitting there looking at you like, yo, I've been hearing this same stuff since I was a sophomore in high school, and now I'm 25 years old, and you've been saying the same thing. So the guy's been decentered the whole time because it wasn't really about them to begin with. It wasn't about them. So you the same age in the same group, and you know they got all of these beefs from you 30, but the beef was for 45 and 50-year-olds. Or the beef is with these young guys coming up who are 20, and it's like, you 30, what are you talking about? So now you done decentered the guys again, right? And they like, man, whatever. So now the aunties, the MILFs, the cougars, they realizing they didn't decentered men their whole life too, and not a minute, and their age group ain't talking to them. So guess what? The 30-year-old that you don't want to talk to because of the fantasy men in Christmas past that you never dated because they wasn't grown, because you wasn't grown then. You know, your aunties, told you there was no good. Your mom and them told you there was no good. Yeah, okay. So the irony becomes what? Now the guy that's 30 with you, now he messing with your mama and your auntie. And somehow your mama and your auntie think he great. And it hasn't dawned on you got lied to. Oh yeah, I know. You know. So now you go, oh, okay. Oh, he is good. And it's like, you talk to my aunt, you talk to this. It's like, what's your point? What's your point? Because and the young guys started figuring out something while they were young. I see why these old dudes ain't messing with this. She's a MILF to me, but now I see why these old dudes ain't messing with her. She's your mama, but I see why your daddy don't mess with her. You get what I'm saying? Like, they've learned those lessons. So now it's like, oh, you decentered them. Okay. But in decentering guys, You know, you've been the center. The family has made you the center. Baby girl is the center. Do every, make sure she go to school, make sure she go to college, make sure y'all keep her hair done, make sure y'all keep her nails done, make sure she get a car, make sure she get this, make sure she get that. And you done decentered men so much, you know, at the end of the day, when she grown and you tired of her, you hoping and praying that some guy will come along. Yeah, my daughter's spoiled because we spoiled her. Or my daughter's a jerk, but hopefully you can get through to her over time. And it's like, bro, y'all done decentered the guys. Y'all done decentered the guys, clean up out of having to deal with it. Sometimes you cut off your nose to spite your face. Sometimes that's what you do. You cut off your nose. And I'm not saying the guys want to be in the center. I'm not saying black men want to be, we want to be in the center of all this. Nope. No, they don't. We don't. It's just like, hey, bro, go do you. Y'all done decentered men so much. You with women. Now you bi. Now you a lesbian. Now you 2-3 kids in, and and now you want to. Now you Brittany grind up this month. You know what I'm saying? Like, I only like women who got strap-ons that I like, and it's like, listen, you decentered men, cool. And now you got bisexual women and lesbian women fighting all up, just fighting all the time because I'm sick of these women because they selfish, they this, they that. You done decentered men to the point where even women have figured out what the problem is. You done decentered them. Cool. You can't decenter what you already decentered. Is what I'm getting at. Same thing, when we come to the family dynamic. You decentered the men. You decentered the fathers. Everybody knows about parental alienation now. It didn't have a name when I was young. We know what it is. We call it something now, but you decentered the guys. And when the kids messed up, and they're maladjusted to adult life as adults, it's like, oh, they can't even blame my dad. They don't have the same stories. You don't have the same stories of people that y'all like to go with in the 60s and 70s, 50s, 60s and 70s. Oh, my daddy was a deadbeat. My daddy just left and never came back. No. That ain't that. Truth be told, that's not really an 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s thing. Because 2020, you'd be 5, so I ain't even gonna bring you into this. But that's not that anymore. People have realized, oh yeah, we did move. Oh yeah, we did make sure he didn't know the number and know the address. Oh yeah, I didn't never go over there for the summer because because they said I couldn't do it. I remember that. So it wasn't daddy leaving anymore. It was more so y'all left dad and made sure dad didn't know what was going on. That's the normal upbringing now when you're raised in a broken home, because it wasn't just your dad that didn't know where you was. Half the time your dad's family didn't know where you was either. Like it was a 50-50 thing. Some family members got the number over time, and sometimes they didn't. Some people don't. That's why family reunions aren't as big of a thing as they once were, because you need all sides of the family. That's why your dad might have went to the family reunion. You had no idea. They don't know you. They don't know who you are. You decentered them in, and now it's like, So now it's a different dynamic. It's the same thing, even with the boys. You decentered the men in parenting, and now we're seeing more and more quote unquote effeminate boys. Man. And like he said, by the way, it's a whole playlist on YouTube now. You ain't gotta buy the book or read it. You could just go to my page and go to my playlist and see the whole. It's like 34 videos, different chapters. But Now you have these young boys, effeminate, bonnet wearing, fingernail polish wearing, you know, just hair too worried about hair, kind of girlified hair, shoes, sneakers, hair, sneakers, clothes. My skin, they just a little too vain and a little too soft. You decentered the men. So now you're getting what you get. You getting what you get. And now you can't. Well, he's like that because his dad. Nah, no, you didn't want his dad to be involved. Some of these kids are effeminate, and especially you boys. Some of y'all really don't find this out until y'all grown. Some of y'all were raised to be effeminate. That's why, out of spite to your dad, because I've been like this my whole life. Yeah, I bet you have. Because from the moment you can remember, you was wearing heels and dresses, but you don't. It doesn't dawn on you the whole time your mama was putting you in heels and dresses and cool with you wearing heels and dresses and purses. You know, that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So now we got this game going on. You decentered the men. But guess what? When you decenter the men, and these sons is acting like this, that's why they're more overly emotional, overly catty. Even the way they do this, yeah, man. I got you, compassionate. Even the way they do this, the way they trying to be gangsters, you can see it. They're so girly. They're gossip oriented. He said, I'm gonna get on live. I'm gonna get on FaceTime. I'm gonna get on live and I'm gonna be on live and I'm gonna tell you, I'm on this block. I'm on this block. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing to me. I'm on your block right now. I'm live right now. Can't nobody tell me nothing right now. It's like, okay, then you get shot. Y'all out here being drug dealers and on Instagram. You on Instagram. Yeah, y'all seeing the moves I'm making. Y'all see what I'm doing. Y'all see how I'm living. It's like, and then you get locked up by the police. Who snitched on me? You. This is all your posts, Playboy. All your posts. I just need to be seen. I need people to see that I'm fly, that I'm cute, that I got a nice outfit. I just got my hair done. Okay. All right. All right. That's what we doing. So you decentered the men. And now this is what you got. Yeah, gangstalicious. As much as y'all like to talk about people clown about D Wade son, a lot of you cats, y'all just D Wade son without a dress. That's all. You got the bonnet like he got the bonnet. Some of y'all getting y'all nails done like he getting his nails done. Y'all wearing them crazy color clothes. They just ain't got the dress. That's all. That's all. You get your hair done just as much as he do. You just you want to get on his son. I mean, you're not that far off. But like I said, some of y'all don't know. Y'all was actually trained to be like that, just out of spite to your daddy. My daddy don't like me because of the way I am. Your daddy don't like that you was raised to be like that on purpose. That's what he really don't like. And it's hard to explain that to you because it doesn't dawn on you. Like a lot. This is why I say you decentered the men so much that the men don't even. Okay, the men can't communicate with the young boys and the young girls and even the grown ones. This is why I say some of these guys be effeminate on social media talking about decenterment because like, bro, you don't think like a woman. You think like a bitter baby mama. It's a difference. I could get the fact that you're effeminate, but you don't think, a lot of you guys don't think like, I'm a man who, I'm just a little feminized. I'm more partial to women. No. Y'all beyond that. Y'all think like a bitter baby mama, and it comes out. Yeah, so what, we lied to him. So what we stole from him. So what? He's a man. So what, we played him. So what, we use him. He's a man. It's like, you a man too. No, I'm not really a man. I'm my mama's bitter baby. So it's different. And it's like, okay, okay, okay. This is what we doing. MC Glitter Boots, that's hilarious. But this is where we're at. A lot of y'all don't even it doesn't dawn on y'all. And that's why when you say why I say you can't decenter black men, because you already did it. It's just you don't like what you did. Hold up for a second. So now you have this going on over and over and over and over again. Because like I said, like this here, we're decentering men stuff. There's gonna be something else. This is gonna phase out, and in a couple of months, it's gonna be some other little slogan that ain't gonna last, and it's gonna be pretty much the same rhetoric. But what people aren't getting is you did it. Congratulations. The men are decentered, and men don't care. it's just like it's just like when you hear people right now talk about politics and they talk about the racial aspect. Hold on for 1 second. Yeah, my bad, my bad. My dog was whining. I had to get my wife to let him out. But yeah, yeah, exactly. That's where I'm going. You get to this political conversation, and everything was black men's fault. Every oh, white people didn't got the country in debt. Let's make America great again. Cool. You make it about white people and white people only, right? Cool. Yeah, y'all got to fix this. It's y'all problem. You know, could y'all get? Can we now finally get away from what about Chicago, the black community and their culture? And it's like, okay, cool. Look, man, we ain't got nothing to do with y'all effing up everything. I appreciate it. Y'all done effed up the banks. Y'all done effed up the auto market. Y'all done effed up the economy. Y'all done effed up inflation. But because it's the black community's culture's fault. And it's like, oh no, 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 no. Y'all on your own. Y'all on your own. You did it. You did it. You did it. You fix it. But we don't know how to fix it. What we do is we mess stuff up and blame you. How can you blame me when I'm decentered? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So it's the same thing over and over again, you know. So it's not uh you can't decenter black men because a lot of black men aren't participating. You keep saying that the number keeps rising. Less black men have children. Less black men are married. But there are more black men married than black women. It's a weird thing. Like, you know, so now we're having this conversation like the guys are decentered. We've been decentered. We're out of the we out of the way, baby. We're out of the way. You could do you as much as you want. Y'all running around here, coloring your hair, shaving it off, dressing from anything to crazy to naked. Like y'all doing everything y'all want. Everything y'all want. And you're spazzing out on the Breakfast Club. Like y'all calling in to podcasts and shows telling your story, and people are realizing you out of your mind. The minute we have decentered ourselves thanks to you. So now it's all on you. Yeah, your husband cheated. Now you cheated with 20 guys. Congratulations. We're decentered. You're all on these paternity shows. You are not the father. Because it's your body, your choice. You do what you want. We're decentered. You get what I'm saying? The whole world know, he gonna pay child support. We already know that ain't gonna go to the baby because we've got generations of babies who were raised on child support who didn't get none of that money spent on them. They know how this goes already, and they don't want to have kids now because of it. The men are decentered. And that ain't got nothing to do with the men. Think about that. It's not the baby daddy's fault. The baby daddy's reason why your son or your daughter don't want to have kids, because they realize what's really going on. So yeah, you can't decenter. You can't do it. You can't do it because it's already done. And the guys aren't finna put themselves back in the center for you to blame them again. No, these guys finna stay decentered. Do you know how much freedom that is? There is no responsibility there now. And it's the irony of it is sometimes it sucks, because sometimes guys need a little bit more responsibility, you know. And it doesn't necessarily help you become a man, but you know that's part of leadership is responsibility. That's part of being a protector and provider is responsibility. So y'all let these guys say, hey man, I can't, because when I'm responsible for you, I'm overbearing patriarch who wants to control you. So hey man, listen, you on your own. I'm decentered. And I hate to break the news to y'all, there's gonna be a lot of decentered black men who living in polygamy. They're gonna have 2-3 girlfriends in their home or apartment. I can guarantee you that. Because, you know, just like y'all said, you know, we ain't gotta live by patriarchal and the patriarchal structure and rules. They don't either. It's crazy. Michelle. Oh, that's cool. That's freaking hilarious. You know, yeah, responsibility without authority. You know, and that was, you know what, that was part of one of the other decentered movements. You know, this is, you know, patriarchy is slavery. Being a wife is slavery. Being in a relationship is slavery. It's like, y'all decentered them. You're right. We don't want to, you know, we don't want to enslave you, baby. You know, I wanted some dinner, but that's slavery. I wanted the house clean, but that's slavery. Okay. So now you're seeing more of that. So cool. Just I hope it works out for you. But you can't decenter somebody that ain't there. But you know, man, I done went on for a minute. I'm gonna call it a day, man. Thank y'all for rocking with me on this one. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.
It looks like a job for Superman.
Do this,
Spoken from the lips of the young, of the old, fear of me.
Yeah. Gotta put it all in.
And they are Superman.
All the way.
I guess I'm taking off the cake through the glasses in the trash. Being super is great, saving y'all is such a drag. Even God took a break, me I ain't coming back. I got one life to live, if you don't like it, that's your ass. Cause nobody saved me, plus when I'm drunk, I'm just a peon. I could use somebody just like I'm the Kings of Leon. This world is cold as ice, mixed with salt, mixed with Freon. They got me pissed off, but that's better than being peed on. For eons, human beings took kindness for weakness. When you constipated, you start to appreciate shit. Put before you life and death, and you just gotta choose. The kryptonite life means you should follow the rules. If your credit's messed up or your bills ain't paid, then it's getting disconnected. Can't nobody say the day. And I can fly, leap a building in a single bound, but I can't stand fair weather friends, and I just fly around. My super friends in Justice League, only folk I kick it with. Kill Lex Luthor, so what, we had to finish it. Kids play games and adults play for keeps, and me, I play to win, but I ain't playing in these streets. And life is not a joke, then again it ain't this serious. Superman can say the day, but God can say the Superman. Saga of the kryptonite, life just ended. You enjoy listening? Man, I'll finish it.
Lois, come holler at me. I got an iced couch. Thank you for coming out, listening. I knew you would like it because we made it. I'm so frigid and so fly.